Hello, fellow devotees and newcomers. You're watching the Indie Devotee Show. I'm your host, the Team Man himself, back from a long break. It's been a while since I uploaded a video. Figured it was time I saddle up again and talk about the indie games. And luckily, a game that I have been eagerly anticipating for a while is finally released, and that's Speed Brawl. It's finally here. It came out yesterday on September 18th, and I have been very excited for the release of this game. So before we get started, big shout out to Mr. Lee Thomas from Double Stallion Games. Generously gave me a code for the PlayStation 4 version of the game because apparently the Nintendo Switch version did not receive a day one patch that it was supposed to. So they mentioned there might be some performance issues or something that makes it like it's not the final version of the game. I personally haven't touched the Switch version yet myself. I did get it. That was the version I was going to look at. But because of this notice that they gave me, and thanks to Mr. Lee Thomas, I'm going to look at the PlayStation 4 version. But if at any point I feel like updating about what's wrong with the Switch version as of right now, I should have looked at it, but I wanted to get this first impressions video out as soon as I could, so I just decided to go ahead and just do the PS4 version and focus on that. But thank you, Mr. Thomas. This was a gracious gift, and I deeply appreciate it. Okay, so let's talk about Speed Brawl. The game is fun. Like, it's addictively enjoyable. I have soaked about 2 hours into this game, and I am in love with it. It is everything that I have wanted from a 2D brawler since I think the last 2D brawler I've played that wasn't a re-release of another game like Streets of Rage or something like that was Scott Pilgrim vs. the World back on the Xbox 360. So it's been a couple good years since I've touched a new 2D brawler. That's new anyway, if there are any out there. It just seems like there's been such a need for them, and I am so happy that Double Stallion Games has decided to give us Speed Brawl. It is everything that I have wanted. I'm so happy that I got a chance to play this, and it has been well worth the wait. So the way Speed Brawl works is you take part in this championship where you have to battle through these hordes of enemies and get to the finish line as quickly as possible, usually broken off into 3 segments, of which you'll fight around 3 to 4, maybe 5 hordes of enemies and waves. You take them down, and then you progress forward, and the quicker you beat them and you get to the finish line, the better your score is, and the better your rewards are by the end of the championship. Combat with Speed Brawl is very rich, and it is very rewarding. You do big chains of combos, and you have to keep up your momentum to make sure that you dish out a lot more damage, because as the name implies, you want to go as fast as you can. Think Sonic the Hedgehog meets Guacamelee. You're constantly moving around, and you're fighting hordes of enemies, and you're just trying to beat them as fast as you can, and the faster you're going, the more damage you dish out. It's a nice way to give it its own personality within the genre, and it definitely has a very rich combat system that I very much enjoy. There is a bit of a learning curve to it, but once you get the flow of combat and how you're supposed to use the environment to your advantage, whether it's swinging off of poles or jumping off the walls or just trying to quickly down a stronger enemy and get them into a flinch state so you can start dishing out more combos and damage, that's the whole focus of Speed Brawl, is learning the environments, figuring out your paths, how you're going to battle enemies, and how you can take them down much quicker. And it offers a lot of replayability in that, because if you don't get the time that you want, let's say you get the silver and you're like, oh man, I got the silver, but I bet if I went this way or if I did it this way, I might do better this time. And you just go back and you get that gold, and it just feels so rewarding, especially since it gives you like gear and upgrades for your characters, extra colors. You unlock characters as you go along as well too. So there are a nice bit of incentives to learning the intricacies of Speed Brawl, and I think that Double Stallion did a great job of their tutorial and helping you get used to the controls and how everything flows. I wish that there was a way to actually just have a little practice arena where you just move around and you kind of get a feel for the controls outside of the tutorial. The tutorial helps, but I think a little practice arena with like just, you know, this endless wave of enemies to help you figure out how you're supposed to keep your momentum up and stuff would have helped too. But the tutorial works well enough, and it's just a small oversight, something I think that would have been nice for them to add, but it's not a game breaker. It doesn't take away from the enjoyment I had of learning this game and just the exhilarating feel I got once I actually started like dishing out all these monster number combos, and I just started like slamming enemies up in the air and everything. It's addictive, good fun, and that is what it nails very well. So as I said, I soaked about 2 hours into the game. I've only made it to the 6-pence league. I passed the 3-penny league, which is the first area you start off in, and I advanced to 6-pence. But I haven't gotten further than maybe like a couple of stages in that. Again, I wanted to kind of just sit down, get my thoughts on my first, you know, couple of hours with the game, and just kind of talk to you guys about that. So I can't go too deep into how many characters there are or how they work. I believe it's a total of 6 characters in the game, if I remember correctly, but I've only unlocked 1, and that's Cassie. And among the cast, I definitely think Eva, she's my favorite so far right now. She's the most well-balanced of the cast. Bia, who's her friend, is more of the powerhouse character. She's slower, but she dishes out a lot of damage. And then Cassie, the character I unlocked, she's faster than both of them, but she's also the weakest. And she's kind of my least favorite right now. I don't really like her ultimate attack that she has, which you kind of like zoom all over the place and everything. It's a little weird. It works great in closed-in spaces, but if it's like a big open area, she kind of just like ricochets everywhere, and if there's not a lot of enemies on the screen, it doesn't really do much. So I usually try to keep her when I know that there's like this huge conglomerate of enemies, and I can just use that to like heck back and just take out enemies really quickly with her doing that. Or I can just use Eva, who pretty much has a more enclosed ultimate attack, because you do have ultimate attacks in this game too. I should have mentioned that as well. Your characters do have specials and ultimates, and you have a standard attack button, your special move button, your tag button, which you can use to tag out for your other character to bring them in to either continue a combo, or if your character gets hard knocked down, you can use the tag button to bring them in and continue the flow of combat, because you don't want to slow down. You want to keep moving in Speed Brawl. That is the main thing. You want to keep moving. The faster you go, the faster you can take out enemies, the better your rewards are going to be, and it's going to take a bit of time to get used to. You're not going to get it on your first romp through most of these areas within the game, but the more that you upgrade your characters through the ability tree or equip them with gear to give status effects or to give them slight advantages in combat and just improve with the flow of how the game is supposed to go with combat, you'll start to get better, and you can get those better rewards, and it'll feel more rewarding when you do that. So if you end up not doing that well your first run through a certain championship or a challenge, don't sweat it. It takes a bit to get used to. The learning curve isn't too steep, but it's enough where once you get used to it, it feels so much more rewarding, and that's the beauty of Speed Brawl. It just feels rewarding to play, and within my first couple of hours, I have just been so engrossed into this game, and the more I play it, the more I see these characters interact with each other, the more I actually like start just like laying the smackdown on enemies and just delivering all that deliciously sweet and savory pain. It's just so much fun, and I can't wait to play some more of it. If there's anything that I'm not really feeling in the game right now, honestly, I think the only thing so far I'm not really feeling in the game is the soundtrack. It's good, but it's not particularly what I would consider to be memorable. It kind of sounds like it's more or less the same tracks whenever I go through the different stages, and maybe I need to sit down more and listen to it, but That's one of the only things I'm not really feeling right now. There were a couple of bugs I encountered. One where when I restarted one of the trials that I was doing, I think it was the poll. It was the poll one. I restarted because I was like, I had a bad start. But when I restarted, the music just cut out and it just wouldn't start back up. And I thought, okay, maybe it'll start back up in a second. Maybe it's just a little bit of a loading issue. And I restarted a couple good times and it just never started back up. It never started back up. I had to go back out to the main menu of the game and it started back up then. It's just that one weird little bug. And then there were a couple of occasions where the game did sort of slow down when I would do certain ultimates, or when it was transitioning to the next wave that I had to go to, it would slow down a bit here and there, or performing certain specials. These aren't game-breaking bugs. They're just very noticeable, and you'll probably come across them as you play as well. But it's nothing that's a deal breaker. I'm sure it'll get patched out as Double Stallion catches these. But it was something to note. Other than that, though, there really isn't much that I can say that I didn't enjoy about the game. Its user interface is really nice. The menus look really cool. The character models are constructed very well. They all just have a nice bit of weight and flow and movement to them. They really did a great job of making this almost like comic book aesthetic, where it's just like it's just all come to life, and it's just very well animated. The anime opening and that piece right there, that piece of music I really did like. That opening is really pretty cool. There's actually a couple of references that Double Stallion snuck in there that I thought were really cool. Like Bia mentions World Warrior and Iron Fist tournament, and I'm like, they made a reference to Street Fighter and Tekken. That was actually pretty cool. I like that. I like when games make those little nods that, you know, if you're a fan of those particular series, you'll catch on to that. And I'm a huge Street Fighter fan and Tekken fan, so I caught onto those immediately when they said that. I was like, okay, that's nice, Double Stallion. I see you there, you cheeky little devils. That was pretty cool. But I gotta tell you guys, Speed Brawl is a good bit of fun. I need to go back and play more of this game. I just really need to talk about Speed Brawl and how good it is, and just share the great stuff that Double Stallion and the team have put out. And shout outs to those guys. I know that they were very excited for it. They've been retweeting a lot of my stuff too whenever I talk about Speed Brawl, same how I retweet a lot of their stuff. And they seem like really cool, very chill people. They are very nice. I definitely think they're really great developers, and I would love to get a chance to experience more of the games they've worked on. I do know most of their stuff is mobile, and I don't play a lot of mobile games, so, well, at least like cell phone mobile games, I'll say. So I hope I get a chance to delve more into their library and experience more of their games. But as the first impression from Speed Brawl, you know, fantastic job, guys. This is a very fun, super addictive game. If you haven't played Speed Brawl yet, please go out and play it. It is a lot of fun. I really want you guys to give this a shot. It's only $20. It's well worth the time. And if you can get past the learning curve that is there, you will find a very rich, very engaging title that you can soak a good amount of hours into. And especially if you're a fan of 2D brawlers, please give this game a shot. It's very much worth it. I'm going to go back and play some more of it because, dang it, this game is great. Oh, Speed Brawl. It's everything that I've wanted. It's really, 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 really good. Again, thank you, Double Stallion and Mr. Lee Thomas. I really appreciate the free code. You guys are wonderful. I love Speed Brawl so much. You guys are beautiful. Love you guys. Mwah! You're awesome. That's about all the time we have for today's episode of the Indie Devotee Show. Thank you all so much for tuning in and watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, give a thumbs up and drop a like on the video. Let's get some conversations going. I want to know if you guys have played Speed Brawl yet and what your thoughts are. How do you personally feel about the game? Is it everything that you've wanted from a 2D brawler? And how does it stack up on your list of 2D beat 'em up games? What is your favorite 2D beat 'em up game? For me, It's Streets of Rage 2. I absolutely love Streets of Rage 2. One of my favorite games, and especially one of my favorite 2D beat-em-ups, which is why I'm super excited for Streets of Rage 4. Cannot wait for that. And I really would love to know, what is your favorite 2D brawler, guys? Please tell me how you're really feeling down in the comments section below. If you're new here, you want to become a devotee, simply smash that subscribe button. Ring that bell to receive notifications for newly released episodes. Follow me at the highlighted social media pages here. I'll leave links down in the description below. Miss an episode? Want to check out another playlist? Just click one of the 2 boxes right here. Until the next time, this is the T-Man reminding all of you, show love and support to our precious indie developers. Remember, you don't need to pay AAA price for AAA quality. Much love and peace from me to all of you. God bless, take care, and have a great night. See you all next time.
That's a wrap.